Okay, I just read Kubla Khan by Coleridge, and it's probably one of my favorite poems because it's just so full of vision and it's just everything that it should be. Like it rhymes, but it's not. Um, it's still surprising even in the way it rhymes. It's constantly throwing new, just visions, just like an incredibly beautiful mixture of constantly throwing life and death back at you. Um, First thing that jumps out to me when I read this is because I've seen the movie Citizen Kane. Xanadu is what he calls this magnificent house he's built, and in the same as in this poem, it is the pleasure dome. It's the dream of this um, enchanted glory of everything that we would wish for in life. Some kind of um, not American dream because he was British, but everything that I think um, universal dream of man seeks to uphold, and the ultimate failure of that, and the failure of it is a mixture of life and death, and even in the death of it, there's plenty of life to go around. Um, the beginning, just plenty of allusions to life. The sacred river, um, the well. Let me just start it, and I'll read it line by line and try and go through so we can get something good out of this, hopefully. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alf, the sacred river, ran through caverns measureless to man, down to a sunless sea. So there you've got your first, the sunless sea is your first kind of illusion that, I mean, your first hint that this isn't going to end well. So twice 5 miles of fertile ground, with walls and towers, were girdled round, and there were gardens bright with sinuous rills, where blossomed many an incense-bearing tree, and here forests ancient as the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. It's very similar to the book four of Paradise Lost, the description of the Garden of Eden, just using this incredibly beautiful language. You know, Beautiful mixtures of life and sex and beauty and um, plenty of greenery and fruit to kind of show us everything that is beautiful in nature and in ourselves from a physical from a physical standpoint. But oh, that deep romantic chasm which slanted down the green hill athwart a cedarn cover, a savage place, as holy and enchanted as ever beneath waning moon, was haunted by woman wailing for her demon lover. So some some definite lust. I mean, this thing is a pleasure dome, um, but the chasm in it is I mean, from what I'm reading here, that it's a symbol of exactly what it is. Like the a pleasure dome is savage. Like our lust and sexuality. There's the animalistic, uh, always an animalistic component to it. It's sex is our return to from our high stature of human beings and communication and logic and enlightened beings to matter. The physical needs of our own body. Just the same way we eat. It's the animal return of our being. And from this chasm, with ceaseless turmoil seething, so we start hearing more and more stuff about sex. The woman wailing for her demon lover, um, the ceaseless turmoil seething, as if this earth in fast thick pants were breathing. So you've got the image of someone panting, the of course their pants, male and woman, male and female, yearning, breathing deeper. A mighty fountain momently was forced, amid whose swift half-intermitted burst huge fragments vaulted like rebounding hail. It's this orgasmic kind of eruption that is causing it's going to end this pleasure dome, and at the same time, um, it's the same thing that the pleasure dome is there for. It's sex at its core. It's desire. Or chafy grain. Oh, huge fragments vaulted like rebounding hail, or chafy grain beneath the thresher's flail. It's a symbol of the creation of the earth itself, and the sexual component to that, because human beings, because we create life through sex, we seem to only understand. Oh, well, I mean, there's a, a definite parallel, at least in my reading. I've read this a lot of times, but every time I read it, I come up with something a little bit different. So what I'm hearing this time is the creation and destruction that is life. That or chafy grain beneath the thresher's flail. Another illusion, like you've got something that has to do with whipping, and at the same time, you know, the the beautiful destruction of sexuality, the pain of longing, and the joy, and I don't want to go too deep into it. It flung up momently the sacred river, and mid these dancing rocks at once and ever, it flung up momently the sacred river. 5 miles meandering, with a mazy motion, through wooden dale the sacred river ran, then reached the caverns measureless to men, and sank in tumult to a lifeless ocean. Amid this tumult Kubla heard from far ancestral voices prophesying war. So there you've got it. The striving for this dream, this pleasure, is also the same striving for destruction and self-destruction. I mean, war in itself, if you think of humanity as a single component, a single organism, then war is just a form of suicide, which, if you've seen any of the other videos on this channel, you'll see that's a very common thing, is people rushing towards their own destruction, that they couldn't get there fast enough. Moby Dick is a huge example of probably the clearest example I can think of this. But it's something that's shown a lot, that we're always kind of, in odd ways, rushing towards our own destruction. And in this poem, definitely, and in Moby Dick for sure, there's a definite sexual component. But it's not just he's not like, there's nothing pornographic about this. I mean, I guess that depends. It's nothing. It's not just rot or filth. It's beauty. There's pure genius in this, and it's a poem that there isn't anything else that is quite like this one. It's totally unique. It's a total vision, and I mean, Coleridge has a lot of really good poems, but I this is definitely one to beat, if there is a better one of his. Okay, let me just keep going. The shadow of the dome of pleasure floated midway on the waves, where was heard the mingled measure from the fountain and the caves. So musical, so just rings all the words together. It was a miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. You know that, and he's singing like the poem hasn't been this musical yet. You know, it's it's full of it's full of rhymes. It's full of genius and clever things. But right as the cavern is getting destroyed, it gets more full of life than ever. It was a miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. A damsel with a dulcimer, in a vision once I saw. It was an Abyssinian maid, and on her dulcimer she played, singing of Mount Abora. Could I revive within me her symphony and song, to such a deep delight 'twould win me, that with music loud and long I would build that dome in air, that sunny dome, those caves of ice, and all who heard should see them there, and all should cry, beware, beware, his flashing eyes, his floating hair. Weave a circle round him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread, for he on honey dew hath fed, and drunk the milk of paradise. It's I get chills every time I get to that last part. Weave a circle around him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread. The person who's tasted their dream, tasted the realization of everything, and has to let it all go, is a very nightmarish figure. Um, I plan on making more videos about this one poem, but I think that's pretty good to start it off. Um, Please comment, and I'll continue addressing anything in the in coming videos about this poem. All right, hope you enjoyed. Take care.